Welcome back to another Tooltip Tuesday here at Dark Ink Publication. I'm excited to introduce to you Pacemaker Planner. By the time I get this video up, it's probably actually going to be more like Wednesday, but that's okay. It's the thought that counts. Pacemaker Planner is a great way for you to track your work in progresses, or maybe even your weight loss, or editing, maybe even saving money. And it's a great way to do that. I really enjoy using it. Now, as a caveat, just remember that what works for me might not work for you, but hey, it's free. It's another tool in your arsenal that you can pull out if you need to. So why not give it a try and see if it works for you? It might not, but that's okay. You can move on to something else. I'd always, of course, in the comments like to hear about the way that you track your work in progresses and do your checklist. Maybe you personally like to do them manually, but I like doing it this way because it's going to calculate everything for me automatically. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Pacemaker Planner is basically like a goal-oriented platform. You can make goals and set goals, whether or not it's losing weight, how many pages you need edited, how many words you have to write by a specific time, and it'll calculate for you automatically how many words per day you need. Maybe say you did NaNoWriMo, you could have done how many words per day you needed, and then you could have like maybe you wrote more, it'll calculate, how less you have to write a day because of that. Or maybe you didn't write enough and now you're going to make up for it. And instead of having to calculate all of those things manually, this does it for you on its own with its smart thinking software. When I first started using Pacemaker, probably around a year ago, they only offered one free plan. And now they're offering up to two, as well as you can purchase additional plans for a $5 flat rate fee. So if you were saying, well, I only do three works in progress at a time, I don't need unlimited plans, and I don't really want to pay $8 a month for it or $72 a year, just buy it for $5, and there you have that extra plan for the rest of your life to use. That's pretty sweet because they didn't offer that before. I might have taken them up on that. Um, with the Pacemaker Premium, with what I have, I do get unlimited plans, but that works for me because I'm often running, seven or eight plans at a time, including checklists. I like my email reminders, which come with the premium. So that's always a great thing for me. So I don't mind putting in that $72 a year, not to mention that it is a business expense. So I tend to be able to write it off on my taxes at the end of the year. So the downside with the free program is you can't make your plans private. But in all honesty, there's not a lot of people on here who are going like, "Oh, what are they working on right now?" I'm going to be a nosy bee. They can't, obviously, the only thing they can see is your progress or the non-progress that you have made, and I'll show you that later. The next thing is you can use checklist goals in your premium version that you can't in your free version. But for me, I'm still learning the checklist portion of it. They're kind of nice to have, but I still tend to do my checklist the old-fashioned way. You don't get a plan description, but I'm not really putting a description in my plan anyway, so that didn't deter me from the free version. You can view it by table, calendar, or graphs in the free version. But hey, if you've got a hard on for bar charts and you're set for that, then the premium version is definitely the way to go. You can only delete plans in the free version. You can't archive them. I do tend to archive some of my plans to bring them up later. But if you're not really too worried about that, and honestly, I think I've only done it once or twice with things that I had to go back and kind of finick around with, then deleting them isn't usually an issue. Once you delete a plan, it frees up a plan, and then there you go. You've got your plan back. Unlike with the premium, I can get daily and weekly email reminders about what my work in progress should be today. So it'll tell me, hey, you need to write this many words on this work in progress. You don't get that with the free version, but all you have to do is go online to know. It's not too hard, and you can also just print out the calendar or the bar graph if you wanted to. You can't organize plans into projects. This I do tend to use because I will make a project such as Savage Kings, and then I'll put all of my stuff under there, including Savage, and then the next book, and then the editing, work in progress when I'm doing that. My release plans and everything will go under projects. And then you don't get a unified calendar under the free version either. So if you wanted to view like all of your works in progress at one point in time, to know what exactly you need that exact day without having to look at them individually. If you like to print out the calendar because you like a hard copy, then the free version you might want to upgrade to the premium. But to be honest, up here in that left hand section, it shows you what you need every day. So like I said, unless you want to like have it all in one place, and you can print out the calendar, it'll look like this. Then it's that's not really a deal breaker. So let's take a look at one of my work in progresses. This is Savage. This is a work in progress that I'm working on. It's a mafia dystopian romance. It's coming out next year. As you can see, I've made a lot of headway. I actually have more words written, but I'm saving them up for these debit days that I have where I'll be out on a surgery. So this is kind of what the plan looks like at a glance when you've already made it. And it's saying that like I've got, 1,227 daily words on average that I need to write. And it's basically just set up by saying like I need 65,000 words over 56 days. This is my progress bar here. This will keep going up the more progress I make to my end date. Another progress and percentage here, which I really like. I usually take that and I upgrade Goodreads so that my readers can see how far along I am, how many average daily words you tend to write, your streak, and then what your longest streak is. So maybe you did great and you went 7 days in a row, had a day off, and then had a new streak. It'll tell you that, and then it'll tell you how many words you've completed, how many words you have left, and how many days you have left as well. So when you want to create a new plan, you just press create and create a plan. It'll bring something up like this. There we go. I always says you want to create a project first. So it'll create something like this, and that's how you can create a brand new goal. But I'm just going to show you what I did off of Savage because I don't need to create a new goal at this point in time. But it'll come up looking like this, and you'll just edit the name, whatever you want to name your project, what activity you're doing. And this is what I told you, you can use spending or running or training or losing, winning, marketing, proofreading, plotting, any of that kind of thing, whether or not you're spending an hour a day plotting or maybe you're grading papers or anything like that. And then the content, are you doing manuals or manuscripts? Do you need to do a newsletter or a diary or a dissertation? There are many different ways to track many different things. You can add it to a project, as you see I've done here. I've added it to the Project Savage. And then a plan description. You can make the plan private if you're going for that premium version. If not, it'll just be grayed out. Um, and you won't be able to do that. And you won't be able to enter a description. Again, I've never used the description. And unless I'm doing an editing project for a client, 90% of the time I'm not making this private either. I don't really have a lot of readers who are going here trying to like be like, oh, what's she doing? Where's she at? And even if they did, I'm not super, I don't really mind. I don't have books names that I keep a secret. I'm really open about what I'm working on. But if you like to keep secret your book names, you can always pull a Marvel, and start doing the progress on here under a different name, make it kind of catchy. Now here's your goals. Now you can, if you're saying, well, I really want to try this, but hey, I've already got like 50,000 words written in out of 85, you can come in here and make your starting point 50,000 words and then the target point, and it'll calculate everything for you automatically about how much more you need to write to reach that goal of 85,000 words. And again, it doesn't have to be in words. You can do it in, when I edit, I tend to do it in pages. But you can also do, if you're serialized, maybe you need to do it in chapters. You need to get 2 chapters out a week. You can do it in chapters or characters or verses, whatever works for you, in dollars or miles. If you're maybe trying to run and you're trying to bump that up, you can put that in there. And if you just email Pacemaker as well and say, hey, I'd like to measure it this way, but I don't see an option, go ahead and give them an email and they'll definitely help you out with that. And then you're going to want to do, is this an overall goal or a daily target goal? So if you're saying, well, I want to run 2 miles every day for 3 day, 3 weeks straight, you can actually make that a daily target goal as well instead of an overall target. And then, of course, your start date and your finish date for that target goal as well. The next thing I really like about Pacemaker is it allows me to adjust my strategy. I'm pretty vanilla outside of my books, and so I like to have the same amount of work every single day. But if you're one of those people, maybe at the beginning of your book or your work in progress, you are like, oh, I don't write that much at the beginning. You can rise to the challenge and it'll adjust it so that you're not writing that many words at the beginning and it's slowly getting to where you're writing more words at the end. Or you can start off maybe with a large commitment, or even doing it a small commitment into a larger commitment and diddles back down to a smaller commitment. The intensity, this is something they added not too long ago. You can take whatever you want to do and you can increase or lower the average intensity of how much you want to write or how much you want to edit or whatever it is that you are doing, which is pretty neat. Not something I've really used because, like I said, I'm pretty vanilla. I like my things to stay the same, but that's okay. So customizations, this is something I do utilize quite often. I don't work on Sundays. I will write on Sundays, but for my editing projects, I tend to leave Sundays blank. And you can do that here on the weekends. You can say that you can skip the weekends altogether, and it'll calculate how much you need to do, or you can maybe even do a push on the weekends. And in that case, man, I'm only writing 5 words a day during the week. Go me. But maybe you want to do more on the weekends because the weekends are the time that you have free. Maybe you don't have your kids on the weekend, or maybe, during the week you have work and the weekends are the only free time you have to write or do whatever it is you're working. Then that is something that is really, really nice to be able to calculate instead of having to do it manually yourself. You can customize your workload on certain days. Like I said, I tend not to work Sundays, but here you can see I have a date range from the 16th to the 18th. These are days that I have a surgery on the 16th. And so I need these days slotted off that I'll be doing no words, and it will calculate exactly how much, I need to do with not doing those days. You can even say that you want to do more. Maybe there's certain days that you want to do more on or do less on. You can do that as well. How you want to display, this is completely up to you and your kink. But if you want to do something like a table, maybe you like seeing things in a table, you can do it that way. You can even, really get on with your graph here if you're into graphs. I am not particularly. A calendar, which is the way I do it, or like I said, if you want to get that premium version because you're hard on for a bar graph, you can do it that way as well. Everybody has their own way and like they wish to see information and how they like to input and output that information. And so if that's something that works for you, that's a great way to do it. And then again, you can begin your weekdays on a Sunday or a Monday, and I begin my weekdays on Monday. And then you can group schedule and progress by. And this means that you can see how you view it. So if you only want to view it by the week, maybe you're just saving for money and you need to know how much money you need to save every week to take that trip to Italy that you want to take. You can do it that way. Or maybe you want to do it by them, like how much money you need to save every month. You can do it that way as well. And then this was one I really like is how does your plan change with your progress? When you upload progress, you have a couple ways that you can do it. So for me, I like my plan to adjust based on my progress, which means that if I write a total of 1,227 words yesterday, but today maybe I only wrote, say, 227 words. It's going to take that 1,000 words and it's going to distribute it evenly through the following days for it to calculate so that I will know exactly what I need to still write each day. Whereas if I did this one and I inserted it, it's going to look like this and it's just going to keep everything the same and it's not going to change it. That's not really how I like it. I like my plan to adjust so I know exactly what I need to see. And then recording your progress, you can do it by overall completed work, which basically means each day it'll record how far you've reached, your cumulative progress. I find that this is very good for editing and for my work in progress, because if you like go into Microsoft Word and you're writing and you already have, like, say I have 5,000 words already, and I just started writing more. I have to go to the top, and then I have to select down to where I stopped and think, oh, I only have 531 words, but I need 1,000. So then I keep writing, and then I have to go back to the top, and I have to keep adding. Whereas with the cumulative progress, it'll tell me, when I go up to my progress here, that my bar down there, right here, should read 2,055 words in my work in progress instead of just 1227 where I have to keep selecting. And so that is what works, um, for me, instead of the daily completed work. If you look here at this one, this is my editing project. I have it set up the same way. I need to get to 83 pages today overall. I'm currently at 72, and it's going to tell me, that I need to edit at least 11 pages today. I'm probably going to end up doing more than that. I always do. But that's how many I need to edit today in order to get it done and back to my client by Sunday the 4th. Now, down here, like I told you, you see all these beautiful colors they have going on. This is your current work in progress is going on. This is my checklist to be completed for the day. I'm still working on the checklist. I still tend to do my checklist manually. I'm still trying to work it out because I can't seem to get the checklist to fall under the same day. They keep like just doing it on different days, so I'm still trying to work that out. Down here in latest progress is where you're going to see all of your plans, some that even haven't come to be yet. For example, this one here for Scotland actually starts for me tomorrow. And I see I actually have to adjust this, to be by the week. And this is basically saying that I need to save this much money a week, in order to meet the $4,000 I need to go to Scotland by June. And the same here with this one. This is getting witchy with it. This is how much I need to save a week in order to go to Boston in November. And then, of course, that weekly checklist that I just showed you, which is down here at the bottom as well. You can also create a plan down here and a checklist. And then you can organize your plan into those projects that I was telling you about. Super simple. You just create the project, save the project, and then when you go to make the plan, you just edit the plan to go with the project. The calendar that I already showed you that has all of your work in progresses. And now that I selected weekly, now that's how it's going to display it. As you can see, instead of every day on $22, it's just at the beginning of every week that needs to be saved. A heat map, which I don't use at all, but if you're into that, this kind of shows you the darker it is, the more you did on that day. So if you like to kind of see, like, oh, like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I tend to be able to edit more. I want to do more on those days. You can do that as well to kind of track your statistics that way. And then just overall statistics. You can view the statistics of like your novel by words and things like that. Not something that I particularly use, but as you can see, it tracks that progress. And as these are group challenges, you can do a group challenge under the free version, but you can only have up to 3 people in your challenge. I don't really care much about challenges, but basically, you kind of pick a group style and a goal. Maybe you're doing a work in progress with somebody and you're co-writing or writing. Maybe you're doing NaNoWriMo. You can do that, or even working on a dissertation, which is pretty neat. You can have up to no discussion board, but you can do group progress challenge and have one challenge running at a time. And this is where you find those community plans. Again, you can't see anybody's actual, like, nobody can see like your words or anything, but they can just take a look at your progress. I know this person looks like they don't, they're supposed to, they don't write on the weekends. It looks like they only write during the week. and you can see that progress from them. But again, like nobody can see, like, you're not writing in here, nobody can see like that. So you can see other people's progress. I literally just have come in here once just to kind of look at it so that I could do this video. And that's about it. It's pretty easy and it's pretty simple. And again, I personally like it because I can do everything automatically. I don't have to try and calculate when I make a mistake and be like, oh, my bad. Like now I have to recalculate how much I have to write every day. It's going to do it for me automatically. But tell me what you think. Is this something that you would use, or how do you personally track your work in progresses? I'm always open, and always know that if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on social media or in the comments below. And also, feel free to just reach out if you're thinking, hey, there's this tool that looks really cool, but I don't know if I want to try it, or maybe you're unsure of how to use something. Let me know. I'll create a video for you. It's one of my favorite things to do. But, anyways, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and press subscribe. That's what keeps me making these videos. But until the next video,